You've just seen one of the many outstanding videos available to you from Wall Builders. David Barton's painstaking research has produced a number of inspiring titles you don't want to miss. Education and the Founding Fathers sets the record straight by proving the revisionist wrong. Revisionists have dared to advocate that the Founding Fathers wanted an educational system free of biblical and religious influence. By relating the Founders' writings, the educational works they authored, and the laws they passed, this video carefully establishes the fact that America's early leaders upheld the Bible as a framework for American public education. In the spirit of the American Revolution, you'll find out what motivated the early patriots, men like Patrick Henry, John Adams, and George Washington, to risk their lives and fortunes in the fight for freedom. You'll learn about the lengthy prayer meeting held during the First Congress, when the Founding Fathers faced the possibility of war. The video, The Foundations of American Government, is a powerful look at how biblical principles once influenced our government. Each of these titles is available on audio cassette as well as on video. Wall Builders also offers a number of intriguing books for your library. In the updated America, to Pray or Not to Pray, and in The Myth of Separation, David Barton tells how America has been sold a false doctrine and made to suffer for it. In Wall Builders' reprint of the 1777 New England Primer, you'll have an invaluable educational resource. It was this little textbook from which the Founding Fathers learned to read. In addition, David Barton's exciting The Bulletproof George Washington gives the true yet little-known account of God's intervention in battle to save George Washington's life. These titles are available to you through Wall Builders, P.O. Box 397, Aledo, Texas 76008. Or you may call 1-817-441-6044 to place your order. Also, if you'd like David Barton to make a presentation to your church or civic group, call or write today.
Dinosaurs seem to have returned to haunt the earth. We see them almost everywhere. What weird and wonderful animals they were. All different kinds, from giants to midgets. Children begin to learn about dinosaurs almost as soon as they start school. Those people with an adventurous spirit would give almost anything to find a real, live dinosaur somewhere in the world. But of course, mainstream scientists say that is impossible. Evolutionists have long conjectured that dinosaurs were part of a theoretical great age of the reptiles about 200 million years ago. According to their theory, dinosaurs became extinct about 70 million years ago. And man did not evolve until about 4 million years ago. So no man could ever have seen a live dinosaur. However, a number of exciting new discoveries indicate that man and dinosaurs may have lived together in the not too distant past. Modern man may have to totally rethink theories of how these great creatures fit into the history of the human race. Dinosaurs are just one of many types of animals that have become extinct because of the changing ecological factors on the Earth. In the last 350 years alone, almost 400 species have disappeared. The great alligators and crocodiles are now rather small and almost extinct. But it was not long ago that they grew to over 20 feet long. They are among the last surviving relatives of the great dinosaurs. there are still some very large reptiles called Komodo dragons on some of the Indonesian islands. They too have been known to grow over 20 feet long and eat deer and pigs. When Marco Polo, the famous explorer, visited the island of Madagascar about 1290 AD, the inhabitants were very sure that some enormous bird lived on the island. But until recently, scientists were sure that it was a myth. In 1967, they discovered it was true after all. They found the bones and eggs of gigantic birds over 10 feet tall. In New Zealand, the remains of even bigger birds were found. They were killed off for meat by the Maoris. In the same way, man may have been responsible for killing off the last of the remaining dinosaurs for meat, and because they were a menace. The world is by no means thoroughly explored. It is true that we know almost all of its geography, but because a country is on the map does not mean that we know all about its inhabitants. Scientists are still discovering new animals every year. Explorers are still venturing into remote areas of the world in hopes of finding a number of puzzling, rarely seen beasts. Aborigines in Australia, ancient peoples also reported dragons that could fly. The famous Greek historian and explorer Herodotus told about flying reptiles in Egypt that sound similar to the Rhamphorhynchus. He correctly described their snake-like body and their bat-like wings. At the entrance to a narrow gorge, he was shown many piles of bones of those that had been killed. The folklore of the Sioux Indian tribe tells of a party of Sioux warriors who were out hunting during a thunderstorm. They saw a huge, flying, bird-like creature get hit by lightning and fall to the ground. After several days of searching, they found what was left of the creature. It had large claws on its feet and its wings, and its beak was long and sharp. There was a long, bony crest on its head, and it had a wingspan of over 20 feet. The description perfectly matches the extinct pteranodon. The Indians had never seen a bird like it before. They called it the thunderbird, and it has appeared in Indian tales ever since. Flying reptiles were also reported in Europe in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, and an authority reported sighting a flying reptile near Mount Pilatus in Switzerland as late as 1649. If the many different stories of dragons are based on some fact, then the typical drawings of dragons we see today may actually be a composite drawing from memories of several different types of large reptiles. After the animals had become extinct or extremely rare, storytellers would add additional mythological features to make the dragon seem even more marvelous and magical.